Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome to the match reaction and player ratings for Arsenal's 2-0 victory over Newcastle. If I say that was convincing, I'll be lying because that was not convincing at all. I was super scared. I thought we'd go out and it was not a good feeling, believe me. And I have two guests with me to help me through it. Neo, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Glenn.
Awesome. And WSL, how are you?
I'm doing good, man.
I'm pretty sure if the result was any different from that, we wouldn't be doing good. I was actually considering not doing a player rating after that because I was super scared. But hey, it went our way. We got the 2-0 victory. Probably people expected it to be a bit more easy, but it wasn't. That's the thing you get when you get drawn against Premier League teams. But hey, we did get through. So, Neil, 2-0 results. How happy are you?
I'm very happy. I thought this was going to go down to penalties, and I thought I was then going to have to be really frustrated talking about how could we go out from a penalty shootout. So for us to get the 2-0 one at the end, I think we made difficult work of it, and it just shows overall where Arsenal are right now, which isn't in a good place. So we've got a lot of work to do, but it's good that we're through to the next round.
Jules, how are you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm really happy, obviously, with that win. Again, we haven't, after that winning streak, we still haven't lost, which is good because if we lost right now, I think it would have made our morale boost lower, go down. But yeah, no. Anyways, it was a great win for us. A bit scary. I was really nervous for the whole game. The first half dominated. I'm not gonna lie. We should have won it by the time it was the end of the first half, but we missed some open chances. And the second half, we lost the ball too many times, to be honest. And Andy Carroll should have won it for Newcastle, but I think overall we deserved it in terms of what happened during the game.
Yeah, let them know what time it is in Hong Kong.
Oh, it's 5 a.m.
The commitment of Arsenal fans. So that's the least they can do for us. The least they can do for us is give us a win. So yeah, WSL, how are you? What did you make of the results?
I mean, obviously, I'm happy with the final result, but the performance was nothing special, and we need to improve. Because if that's a preview for the game against Crystal Palace and then Newcastle in the Premier League, I ain't happy with that. I don't think we're going to beat either of them two teams because Newcastle are going to be stronger in the Premier League. They've got players back from injury, and yeah, I don't know. We need to be a lot better than that, though.
So the good news for you is that it won't be like that in the Premier League because we won't see the likes of Willian and Willock in the Premier League. So that's a good thing. So Neo, let's start with you. Starting lineup reaction. What did you make of the starting lineup when it came out?
It's exactly the starting lineup that I thought we would have started. I felt that everyone that's been playing well should not be playing in this game. So the only ones that I thought that shouldn't play would have been Tierney, probably Leno, but I can understand Leno because our backup goalkeeper's 100 times worse. But for the most part, I would have started this starting 11. But overall, I'm quite disappointed with how they played. But yeah, I mean, do you want me to go into ratings now and rate each one of them so far?
Yeah, we'll come to that.
Okay, all right, but yeah, it's what I expected in terms of starting 11.
WSL?
I mean, yeah, it's what I expected, but what I wanted was not Willian to play. I mean, yes, we need to rotate the team. Like players like Saka and Smith Rowe probably shouldn't have played. But Willian, for me, is not an Arsenal player. He shouldn't ever be allowed to wear the shirt again. We should be bringing in a youngster to play in that position because Willian brings us nothing. He's lazy. He doesn't. It looks like he doesn't want to play the game. Whereas someone from the academy will try his hardest in a game like this. So for me, a player like that needs to be in. But I'm happy Aubameyang played because obviously he scored his goal. So hopefully that brings on more. But I agreed with the Runarsson and Leno situation. Runarsson would not have saved that second attempt from Carroll in the last few minutes of the game. So we would have lost without Leno, I think, today.
True. And Joe's starting lineup.
Oh yeah, pardon. What was it? Can you say it again?
Starting lineup. What did you make of the starting lineup?
Well, of course, I saw right before I was making my video. I was halfway editing through my starting XI video, as I usually do, and I see the video on Twitter. Gabriel Martinelli, his ankle. Oh, that is just not good. I feel so bad for him because he just came back from a very long injury, and it might just be another huge injury again. I feel so bad for the guy, the youngster from Brazil. I just feel bad for him because you can see that's the player we need at Arsenal Football Club. A guy like Martinelli, a guy who's really eager to bring something to the club. And yes, there's very high expectations for him, but and then there's so many players have so much pressure on their backs right now. But I think Martinelli, he doesn't play with that pressure, unlike other Arsenal players that we have in the squad. But he doesn't play with that pressure, and I really like the fact that he really, he gets angry when he doesn't score. Which is really, as I said, it's exactly what we need, goals right now at Arsenal Football Club. You probably know that. Yeah, the fact that he's injured, and Mick Arteta said it's another huge injury that might be for months. He might be out for months. The fact that he said that is just, I'm shocked, and I feel really bad for Martinelli.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Neo, Martinelli, another injury again.
Again, I think I'm disappointed. I did not think that he should have started the game. I thought that this would have been. I thought the last game he should have played, but this one he should have completely missed. I don't think that there was any reason for him, but it just shows that maybe he wasn't anywhere near close to being fully fit again. For an injury to happen this soon, maybe Arteta was trying to rush him back, but you can understand why he was trying to rush him back because of how bad we were, 3-4 games ago. So it is disappointing. You just have to hope that with Aubameyang looks like he's playing a little bit better, that maybe he can hold down the fort and, just let Lacazette, Saka and Smith Rowe do the job. But yeah, just a massive disappointment for Martinelli.
How about you, WSL, Martinelli?
I don't know how long he's going to be out for, because there's been reports on Twitter that he only sprained his ankle, so it might only be a few days, but no one knows. Injuries that have been said, they look really bad, sometimes aren't bad, and then vice versa. So let's just hope that he is back soon, because he's not an injury-prone player. Like, he's had the one injury, which was the long one before his career, and I just hope this doesn't bring on these kind of injuries, because there's been loads of young players in the world that have been riddled with injuries, like Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona is one of them, and I really just hope Martinelli doesn't turn out like him, because he's such a talent and he probably can be one of the best players in the world in a few years. So we need to make sure that we're keeping him fit and that not overplaying him, because I think he played too much, I think, to say that he's been out for 300 days. And again, I agree, he should not play today. He should have been rested for Crystal Palace. And now that he can't play against Crystal Palace, then it was just a poor decision from the manager, because we need this guy. He's a world-class player. So, yeah.
The thing is, he didn't get injured in the game. So even if he was, I don't know how vigorously or how differently they usually warm up if you're a substitute or if you're starting the game. But even if he wasn't starting, maybe he would have rolled his ankle still, because he would have been on the bench anyway. So yeah, it's just bad luck, I guess, with him. But hey, the game started. The first 20 minutes, we created a couple of chances. Pepe opening up the left back, looking good a bit. Willian looking a bit good, surprisingly, in the first 20 minutes. Jules, I'll start with you. The first 20 minutes, still 0-0. Are you worried?
Actually, no, I wasn't worried at all, because I think that's you mean the first half, right? The start of the first half.
Yeah, the first 20
Yeah.
minutes, 25.
No. We were dominating, were we? From the first 2 minutes already, we had like 2 shots on target, didn't we? And yeah, I don't know why we subbed off Nelson and we kept Willian on. That was a bit later, I know, but I don't know why we did that. Because, you know, in the first 10 minutes, you could tell Nelson was the difference. I know he made that one mistake where he took one touch too much, but now overall, Nelson was a player that should have played the whole game and deserved to play the whole game. And that was his chance to prove, but it was a bad decision by Mikel Arteta. But anyways, as I said, I wasn't scared in the first 20 minutes because I actually thought we were easily going to win the game. We were creating ourselves too many chances. Newcastle looked like a dead team. It felt like a West Brom game, you know. The opposition just dead, to be honest. No, but I thought we should have. It was already in the bag after the first 20 minutes. I thought it was already in the bag. The win.
Yeah, Neo, surprisingly, he thought Nelson played well. I think in the first 25 minutes, Tierney, some good runs, crosses the ball to Nelson. He should do better.
Yeah, I felt that this was a game for him to prove himself. I'm a massive Reiss Nelson fan. Same thing goes with Willock. I want to see our young players like do well. And I just think that they just didn't do enough. I think the one difference between Reiss Nelson and Saka is that Saka will try to take the game by what they say, the scruff of the neck, and try to make things happen. Whilst I think Reiss, he waits a lot. He acts like a passenger and waits for other people to start off, and then he decides to, you know, come into the game. But I don't think that he was on that much on the pitch for long to be able to really impact the game. He did a few things wrong, but for me, it just wasn't enough. I still think he needs to go out on loan. Like he needs to get some confidence in his game. Like as an attacking player, you can't just stand by and just let other people. He has to be one of the players really making an influence in the game, and Saka's leading the way with that. So I think that was my disappointment with Nelson.
Yeah, and then WSL 0-0 at halftime. And the last 20 minutes of that half looked kind of boring, like both teams are strolling. Were you starting to get worried?
Not in the first half. I mean, the second half is a different story, but I think Nelson, we started off really well. I think it was like 3 minutes in where we already had 2 shots on target from Pepe and Nelson. And I had really high hopes for Nelson because I've been asking him to play. I've been wanting him to play for a long time, ever since he hasn't last played. Like again, I don't like Willian. I'd rather have Nelson on the pitch than Willian. But Nelson for me today didn't do anything really. He stumbled when he had a chance to score, and he just looked really off it. And I agree he should be sent on loan or possibly even sold, because I just don't see a lot in Nelson for where I can say that he deserves to even start. But I wasn't worried, not in the first half. I mean, Andy Carroll's always going to be a problem. We knew this before he got into the game. And I can't remember if his chance to score was in the first or second half. I think it was second half, but
second. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, not the first half, but the second half's a different story. But I wasn't too worried.
Who knew I would still get worried about Andy Carroll in 2021? Andy Carroll, like we've never dealt with those kind of players well. The likes of Crouch, Carroll, the likes of Stoke City when they had Shawcross, we've had tough times against these tall players in the box. It's always very hard. But yeah, the second half starts, still nothing to show, Jules. But we make a couple of subs. I was crying for Lacazette to come on, but he didn't. So we brought in, Smith Rowe and Xhaka. Were you surprised Xhaka was brought in before the others?
He was brought in with Saka, I think. And Smith Rowe was brought in before, I think. But no, anyways, I think Xhaka.
First,
yeah. So I was saying that, Xhaka, I wasn't surprised because I think now he's, as I said, he's a good player now, to be honest. After that free kick, I know, but like not just because of that free kick, but honestly, just in terms of everything he's done for the past few months. He's just been outstanding, to be honest, and he proved us wrong again. The question is that discipline thing going to happen again? I hope it doesn't. But no, as I was saying, Xhaka today, I wasn't surprised that he was brought on because just the fact Willock as a centre defensive midfield, and we were struggling, especially, you could tell, right, in the second half. And I think it was just a good decision to bring Xhaka. Look how he created that second goal. World class.
Yeah, world class. Oh,
Nah,
world class.
okay, I wouldn't say world class, but I would say
The pass.
there was definitely like a Ozil type of vision pass,
Yeah, this days it's Smith Rowe kind of vision, not Ozil anymore. Neo, so Carroll starts getting some clear-cut chances. I mean, if it was Wilson for them, he would have scored a couple of those ones. What did you make? Is it poor defending, or is Carroll just a threat in the air and stuff?
No, I think Carroll is just a threat. It's like you said, we've always struggled to deal with Andy Carroll and what he brings to any side that he's played with, whether it's West Ham or Newcastle. We've always struggled with that type of player. I mean, I think the problems are not really with the defense, but in the midfield, like having Joe Willock play there with El Neny, even though El Neny is the DM, you expect Joe to help a little bit more on the defensive side. And for me, that just isn't quite his game. But for me, I think for the most part, I think we were able to deal with Andy Carroll quite well. Didn't really have that many chances, whether it's from a set piece or even shots on goal. But he was just had that one moment at the end where he was pretty close. But yeah, I think we did a good job handling him overall.
Yeah, WSL, why was your thinking in the 80th minute? Did you think we were going to lose, or did you think it's extra time? Were you hoping we get a winner?
I mean, what I will say is, I think when Saka came on, he changed the game up. I think Saka was making those runs. He had a really great chance that just went over the bar. Like he changed the game. I think Tierney was excellent in the second half as well, and I think Aubameyang was unlucky to miss. Like, I think he had 2 good chances. But I mean, yeah, the Andy Carroll chance when the cross came in, it was poor. It was poor from Tierney. He let the ball get away from him, and the cross came in. I think Carroll needed to be marked a little bit more, but we're lucky he missed. But then the second chance, I think it was their 18-year-old striker. I can't remember his name. He had a really great chance, and then Carroll again. But Leno, he saved us. I was worried until Leno made that save, in which I knew we were going to go to extra time.
Yeah.
But I think the substitutions were good. I think even Xhaka was quite good. I think Xhaka changed the midfield. I think he was getting us forward a bit more, and we looked better with those 3 on. I think it's just the fact that we have to bring Smith Rowe and Saka on the pitch when they needed to be rested is it's not good for players like Pepe and Willian, because they should be the ones that win games like that. Like, they should be just easily winning those games, and they're both just not performing right now.
Neo, did you immediately feel a bit more confident when Saka came on?
Oh yeah, like I knew as soon as we get past the 60th minute, if we hadn't scored a goal, and once the substitute started, I knew we were going to score a goal. Like, literally, as soon as we saw Lacazette come on, I knew that the trident was complete. Like, Saka, Lacazette, and Smith Rowe on the pitch. Like, it's over. Like, we are going to score goals. Like, we are going to win, because that's how confident I am in those 3 being on the pitch, and how well that they've played recently. So I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, so Jules is kind of right about Xhaka. I've never actually cried for Xhaka to come on, but today I was like, just bring him on, because that midfield looked very, very poor. No creativity from anywhere. On the right, we were lacking Saka. On the left, I mean, Tierney, first of all, this guy is a gem. Only Luiz was kind of our creative spark, and Tierney from the left. So extra time, Jules, did you want Lacazette to come on immediately, or did you want us to, like, were you still confident we'd win it without Lacazette?
Well, first of all, even without Lacazette, I knew we would win, but I knew that Lacazette would be a huge boost, and the fact that I started getting really nervous and stressed and started thinking that it might go to penalty shootouts, I knew we would win the game. honestly, because we were so good at penalty shootouts, right? We're really good, but we haven't lost a penalty shootout yet. But I think yeah, it was getting I was panicking a lot. I was starting to panic a lot. But Lacazette, as I said, he would have made, well, he wouldn't have made the difference, but he would have just made our performance like a bit better, you know. But even with that team we had without Lacazette, I knew we were going to win the game, even after the first goal. And just Lacazette, when he came on, he just made it even better, and he made it unstoppable.
Yeah, so WSL, 15 minutes of the extra time gone, still 0-0. Were you preparing for penalties?
I mean, yeah, I didn't actually want Lacazette to come on the pitch. I'd rather have had Maitland-Niles because of how good he is at penalties. Like, Maitland-Niles is, for me, one of the best penalty takers in our team. So I was preparing for that. But the goal from Smith Rowe, and I think the movement from, again, like Neo said, the trident between Saka, Lacazette, and Smith Rowe, those three just have like some like unearthly connection with each other. They're able just to move the ball around so fluidly and like then score.
Yeah.
Like the goal against West Brom, it just reminded me of that. Like just the way they were moving the ball around. But yeah, I was definitely preparing for penalties after the first 15 minutes. But I mean, you can only praise Arteta. Like I'm not a big Arteta fan, but he chose to bring Lacazette on, and Lacazette made the difference. He got the assist, so.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he didn't want Lacazette to come on. I was crying for him at halftime because I knew if he'd come on, he'd get a goal. But yeah, all of you are right. Like, we have a good record in the FA Cup. The penalty is always good for us. Niles is a good penalty taker. Aubameyang is not the best, but he's okay. Lacazette never misses. Pepe never misses. Willian, as much as we don't like him at Chelsea, I don't think he ever missed a penalty. Luiz has taken, I think, a couple for us against Liverpool. He scored both of them. Cedric has taken a couple for us, I think, in the Community Shield and Carabao Cup. He scored both of them. So all of them are very good in penalties. So we might as well have won it anyway. But yeah, I still don't care. I still don't want penalties when it's my team. I enjoy watching when it's other teams, but not Arsenal. So Neo, first goal comes up. He was Smith Rowe. How happy were you? What did you make of the goal?
Oh, I immediately, when Smith Rowe scored that, I said game over. I said it was done. I didn't think we'd get a second, but I knew that was it. I think it was late on, and I was just completely ecstatic. The fact that it was Smith Rowe to score it, like I've wanted him to score more goals because his creativity and interlink between Saka and Laka recently have just been incredible. So for him to get the goal, really happy for him. And I had him as my man of the match. The fundamental reason why we kind of broke the deadlock in this game.
How about his red card? Or was it correct to overturn it?
Oh, of course. If VAR didn't get involved, I would have been so pissed off because here in the UK they showed it on TV, and I'm like, no, he hardly even touches him, and you can tell like he's completely off balance. Like he himself is getting ready to fall down. Like no way, like should he be getting sent off? A yellow card at most. But yeah, like VAR saved us today. You could say
I don't think any of us saw that red card being shown. I think it was just because of his reaction of having the hands on his head. Yeah. I was like, I started fearing the worst. You know, when Smith Rowe is getting a red card, I was not thinking about today's game only. I was like,
yes,
Willian for the next 3 games. Yep. He's out for 3 games now. What are we gonna do against Palace, Southampton? I was very, very worried, and again worried about this game because every time we get a red card, and since back then, you know, Chelsea red card 6-0. Bayern red card 5-1. We always fall apart when you get red cards. 8-2. We had a red card all those games this season. Burnley. We always fall apart when you have red cards most of the time. So I was very, very worried. Jules, the goal. What did you make of the goal?
So sorry, my stream here was working. Smith Rowe, I saw it. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So I was saying Smith Rowe, just that goal. I knew he wanted there, so I went absolutely crazy. And yeah, of course, as usual, I make a vlog, and yeah, I went nuts, obviously, because the fact Emil Smith Rowe scored, because that's a player I've been voting man of the match, you know, for the past few games. You probably know that, Glenn. He's been my man of the match for the past few games. Just the fact from just the fact that he's come out of nowhere to here, and to our key player. He's our key player at Arsenal. He's the key player at Arsenal Football Club right now. I would say him alongside Tierney and Leno, but he's like the main one, I think, because without him, I think there's no creativity, nothing. It just showed with Willian. Willian now, as I said, I saw he's working for he's like a secret agent for Chelsea, purposely trying to sabotage the next few years at Arsenal. But nah, he's got to go. He's got to go. Honestly, it's not good enough. Just terminate his contract, and yeah, simple as that.
I really want them to do well. I like their vibes in the dressing room during training. I always see his pictures with the family and the daughters. You want these players to do good, but he steps up on the pitch, nothing at all. But yeah, WSL, Smith Rowe, I know you didn't want Lacazette to come on, but he assisted the goal.
I mean, yeah, the goal ahead, it was a really good goal. And Saka, Laka, and Smith Rowe, just they're so good together. But with the red card, it definitely wasn't a red card. I would even argue that it wasn't even a yellow. When you look back at it, he barely even touched the player. But this is a bit of a long shot. I kind of feel like Newcastle were trying to get us a red card, because there was a few times, and I think Almiron was diving. And I think on their part, it's smart, because they play us in 2 games. So for them, if they can get a player like Smith Rowe sent off and he can't play against them in 2 games, they have a chance of winning that game. So I think for them, it was a bit of a chance to try and weaken us for when we play them in the Premier League. And I'm just happy VAR actually worked in our favour for once and overturned that, because it definitely wasn't a red card. But yeah.
Good thing they brought it to the FA Cup this season, because if it was the Carabao Cup, where I think we considered like 2 offside goals that day against City, it would have been a mess, because red card extra time coming up, it would have been a mess. But yeah, Jules was right about Smith Rowe. Like, I don't think I've been as happy as I was today to see Smith Rowe coming on. Like, this guy he was at Huddersfield on loan. Like, he was never good enough, as they usually used to say. So like, I never really I didn't put him in the standards of like the likes of Saka and even Willock. There's a time Willock was ahead of him. So seeing him coming on, I was so happy. I was actually so happy that he was the first one to be brought on, because he brings a difference in the team. So the second goal, Neo, finally, Aubameyang getting a goal from Tierney's cross again. How good is Tierney, and how happy are you Aubameyang got a goal?
I mean, Tierney has been, for me, he's been one of our most consistent players throughout this season.
Sorry.
Honest.
Yeah, your fan is a bit loud.
Me?
Yeah, your fan is a bit loud.
Hey, I was saying that
yeah, go ahead.
I was saying that Tierney has been one of our most consistent players over the past year and a half. At Arsenal. For me, he's a definite starter. I mean, even though I wanted him to kind of get a break in this game, for me, you just have to play him. And Aubameyang, it's good that he got the goal. I know this would do well for his confidence. And to be honest, like, he was probably one of the better players in this game, who hadn't recently been playing that well. I think if there was any player that we should consider starting, especially if Martinelli isn't injured long term, it should be Aubameyang. I thought he played pretty well, and I'm glad that he got the goal. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, he could start to get more goals and start to become the Aubameyang that we've seen in the past, who's scoring a goal almost either every game or every other game. So happy to see Aubameyang smiling again.
Yeah, Jules, the second goal.
Aubameyang. Sorry, Aubameyang. Yeah, it was. As I said, Xhaka. I think that's the reason why I liked the substitution, and that's the reason why, as I said, Xhaka is back in the first team. Passes like that, a vision like that. But yeah, no, you could see that after the first goal, the game was done already, and therefore Newcastle were spread apart. Like at the end of the game, it's always like that. And Aubameyang, what to pass from Xhaka. Tierney does what he needs to do, gets it in that area, in that dangerous area, and Aubameyang finishes the game. And I don't go absolutely crazy for for that goal, but because I already knew we won it, but it was a good goal. It's fun to watch, I guess.
Clearly, you're really loving that Xhaka pass, so you might as well talk about it. Neil, let me start with WSL. Xhaka's pass, are you giving credit for that, or are you expecting that from him?
To be honest, I don't expect anything special from Xhaka. I definitely think we need to get rid of him, but like the last few games, like Hector Bellerin, he's played really well. Like the goal against Chelsea changed that game, but yeah, it was a great pass. I mean, he can do that, and this is why I'm sometimes upset with Xhaka, because we know what he can do. He just doesn't do it frequently enough. But I was worrying that this is going to be another one of those games where Aubameyang gets 3 or 4 really good chances to score and he just doesn't. But I'm happy that he's finally scored. And as I think Neo said, let's just hope this, makes Aubameyang wake up to the fact that he's so important to this club and that he's actually loved by the fans more than I think he even realizes. So hopefully
really
he can.
happy got that goal.
The one thing to see is he looks a lot upset a lot. Like he's even said that he's very sad with his recent form. So hopefully this puts a smile back on his face and that he can start scoring a lot more for us. Because I think when he missed the penalty against Tottenham last season, he had the same thing. He had a goal drought. He was very upset with the missed penalty. But as soon as he scored again, he opened the floodgates for him to go and score more and more. So let's just hope it's another one of those situations.
So I don't know about you guys, but this guy on screen right now is slowly becoming my favorite Arsenal player. Like he's kind of overtaken Aubameyang and he's kind of overtaken Lacazette and he's kind of overtaking Saka. He's slowly becoming my favorite player. The way he drives at people. Like I saw Cedric on the other wing today and I was like, I need to see the same from you, but he doesn't do the same. So Jules, Tierney, but we'll come back to him in the player ratings. So that is the next topic. That was the match reaction. Let's get into the player ratings now. Probably, I don't know how these guys are going to rate them. This is the first time. I think this is like the first time I'm doing a player ratings after extra time. I'm not sure. I don't actually remember, but I think so. So Jules, I'll start with you in that order, and then Neo, and then WSL. So Leno.
Leno. I'm trying to think. What did he have to do?
He did save a couple of shots from Carroll.
Yes,
Believe me, we were going to go out.
No, Carroll played well today. I was going to mention that, but Carroll, if Carroll took his chances, it meant that Newcastle was going to win, which probably meant that Andy Carroll would have been man of the match. And he's good. He's definitely good. As you said, we never managed to like stop Andy Carroll and those top players like Peter Crouch, as you told me. But Leno today, he definitely stopped. Oh yeah, there was one moment he did like triple save or whatever it was, stopped Andy Carroll from scoring. He did that twice, didn't he? But nah. That there was one moment at the end of the game, right before extra time, he saved us there. He absolutely saved us, and yet again, he just showed why he's Arsenal's number one. Yeah, Leno, I'm gonna give. He didn't have a lot to do, but we played from the back a lot from the strand. I think he had confidence, and as I said, he did some saves. I think there was one, as I said, that one moment is probably going to give him an 8. Yeah, an 8.
I mean, you've mentioned those players again, the likes of Crouch, even Adebayo, for goodness sake. I just remember there's a time he scored against us at City. We couldn't just deal with this like tall players. Neo, Leno, were you happy Saturday? Were you like, just give Runnerson another chance? Or are you like, hell no, no Runnerson?
I thought let's start Leno, but I said that, you know what, I wouldn't be surprised if Runnerson ended up starting the game, and I'm glad that he didn't, because I think like everybody's really said, like if it wasn't for Leno, we wouldn't have won this game. I think Runnerson would have somehow fluffed his lines and something would have happened, one would have gone through his legs or he would have scored an own goal, Runnerson. So for me, I'm going to give Leno an 8 as well because of that. Like the save at the end for me was pivotal. Like without him, we would not have won this game. So for me, Leno, he gets an 8.
You're right. WSL?
I think Leno is easily one of the most underrated goalkeepers in the Premier League. I think he could very easily get into every Premier League team, maybe except Liverpool.
Yeah.
He saves us, I think, more than people realise. He saved us against Liverpool. Like, I know we lost that game, but it could have been like 4 or 5-0, and it wasn't because of Leno's amazing saves. Like, he's a great goalkeeper. And again today, I truly believe if Runarsson was in goal, we would not have won that game. I think it would have probably been at least 1-0 to Newcastle, maybe 2-0. But for me, Runarsson not starting gives me the idea that we're looking for someone else to replace him, because this is the kind of game where you play your second keeper, and we stuck with Leno. So I think Runarsson's finished personally. But yeah, Leno was amazing, and I agree. I gave him an 8. He saved us once again.
So we'll go with an 8 for Leno. I also thought he was brilliant. So yeah, I also don't think Runarsson would have saved it. Maybe he would. Maybe you're being too harsh. Maybe it was a couple of mistakes, on a bad day. But yeah, Leno is very, very good. He gets an 8 for today. Got a clean sheet again. Surprisingly, we actually have like the most clean sheets away from home in the Premier League, I think, after Leicester or something, and a couple of clean sheets in the Cup. So he's doing very well again. So the next one, Jules, Cedric.
Cedric, yeah, he did all right, didn't he, today? He did better than he usually does. He knows that the fans have been have been giving him critics based on his crosses and his defending. I think he figured that out today. And yeah, also he's a good penalty taker, so that would have probably secured us the fourth round whatsoever. But yeah, no, he did what he needed to do today. I don't remember any mistakes. And he was he was a bit like Mari today. Nothing too big, as usual, which is good. And as I said, the crosses already. I'll probably give him a 7 today. Nothing too exceptional, but nothing too bad. Nothing bad at all, which is good.
7. Yeah.
I would actually give him a 6. I thought he was okay. I didn't really notice him that much, which tells me that he didn't do anything wrong. Probably did his job quietly, but didn't do anything spectacular like a Tierney. So I'm going to give him a 6. I just think it's a solid performance from him. Nothing to really speak about. Didn't do anything wrong to criticize. So yeah, I thought he had an okay performance.
WSL, did you want him to start, or did you want Niles to start?
I would much rather have had Maitland-Niles starting. I think with Cedric, he's not bad defensively. Like he can defend really well, but the way we play, we need our fullbacks to run forward and create play, which is why Tierney is like top class for what we need. Cedric, he tried today. There was opportunities when he tried to cross and go there, but he doesn't have it. Like, he's not that kind of player. He never has been. Like, when he played for Southampton, he was much more defensive. So for me, I think Cedric really isn't the kind of player we need. I don't think he's a bad player, and I think today he was decent, so I give him a 6. But in the long run, Cedric, we need to get a better right back than him. And I think personally, Maitland-Niles is probably better than Cedric right now. But yeah, I'd give him a 6 today. It wasn't bad.
6. I think maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Maybe a 6 because he wasn't that good like Tierney and the others. So I'd give him a 6. So yeah, for him, he needs to stand out more. He needs to stand out more. So 6. Jules, David Luiz.
David Luiz. Well, he's back in the squad already. It felt like a first-team squad except for him, which is good. No, but as usual, leadership. And as I said, I think he's playing better than he ever did at Chelsea. Yeah, I think David Luiz today, what can I give him? Probably David 7. But you know what he did very well? Actually, something that he did very well. as usual, creating those chances, going, he was given a lot of, actually, the first half, he was given a lot of space. So he just drove very well with Mari to the halfway line and even further. And then, do those long passes David Luiz usually does. And then during the second half, of course, there was no space at all. And he still managed to find a way through Andy Carroll to do those long passes yet again. I think it was outstanding, and he dealt very well with Andy Carroll today, aerially beating most of the time Andy Carroll, which is good. All the time is never going to happen against Andy Carroll, but most of the time is really good already. So yeah, I think David Luiz today, he deserves. I'll change my 7 to an 8, and also because he's back into the squad.
Okay, Neo.
I'd actually give David Luiz a 7. I thought he had a pretty good game. Coming back from an injury, hasn't played properly, at least within the first team for a little while now. And I thought he just did what David Luiz did best. I think he's solid defensively. Don't remember him making any mistakes, doing anything wrong. But I think for me, the one thing that I really liked from him was that he was always trying to kind of those long passes from defense, try to create chances. I think he did it once for Aubameyang, twice for Aubameyang and once for Pepe, to try to get things going. And that's what we need more of that. For me, I think that also helps Aubameyang to be able to help him get into positions where he can score more goals. So I thought, again, solid performance from David Luiz. So I like what I see, and hopefully, I mean, with the amount of games that we have coming, I'm sure he's going to get more games to come.
Yeah, WSL.
I think that David Luiz gets a lot of stick from Arsenal fans, and I don't understand why. I mean, I know he made mistakes when he first joined us. He got the red card against Man City, and I think he got red carded against Chelsea. But ever since then, he's, for me, been one of our best centre-backs. He is so, like, he's just a solid defender. Like, today he was winning headers against Andy Carroll. And especially, you got look at the head injury that he got against Wolves. I know Jimenez came out worse, but that kind of injury, seeing that kind of injury plagues players. Yet David Luiz still goes for headers, he still wins them, and he's still physically dominant in the air. The passes that the attacking prowess that he gives us from defence, I don't see any of our centre backs doing that. I think there was about 3 or 4 times today where I see Luiz picking out a good pass, and yes, it may not have made it to the player, but he's at least attempting it. Whereas players like Holding just aren't doing anything. I think a lot of people have said Rob Holding and Mari are one of our best partnerships. I'd actually argue Luiz and Mari are better. I think today they were both really good together. I think they both speak the same language. I want to say they do. So I think they have that connection there where they're really strong together. But I think Luiz was really good. I'd give him a 7.
7. I'd agree that his long pass is also like a bit of creativity from him. That's the positive from him. Holding had a good pass against West Brom, but it's really rare. Luiz is kind of consistent with that. So I think I'd agree the 7 again. Jules, the next one you're going to start with is the other defender, Pablo Mari.
Pablo Mari. I think Pablo Mari today. Pablo Mari. Same thing as David Luiz, actually. Exactly the same thing I was going to say. But as you know, he's consistent. And something else that's different compared to him and David Luiz is that he actually plays simple. Like, that's what Arsenal's been missing. How much did you pay for him? Was it 5 million, 6 million from like a random Brazilian club? And he plays simple. That's the reason why he's good. Really, and look, another clean sheet with him in the squad. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think today Pablo Mari, he got his spot back ever since the Chelsea game. He got his chance and he took it. No mistakes. That's the thing I like about Pablo Mari, and nothing too hard, because he doesn't have the ability to do more. But then that's the good thing, because he doesn't take those risks. And that's exactly what Arsenal Football Club need, as I said. Today, as usual, outstanding, did his job, had one shaky moment, but everything else, just as usual, very perfect. And as I said, he beat most of the time Andy Carroll in the air. aerially, which is really good. And I'll give him probably today an 8 also.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to give Mari a 6. I felt that I think he had a decent game. I don't think it was as good as David Luiz just because of what Luiz was giving us going forward with his passing. But I thought Mari had a good, solid game. Again, he was one whereby he didn't do anything wrong. But I mean, he didn't do anything to like on the attacking side like Luiz. But I get it. That's just not part of his game. Like he does those simple things really well, and he was good, solid defensively. I have nothing to complain about, so that's why I'm giving him a 6.
Okay, WSL.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd give Mari a 7. I think Mari he wasn't giving us as much like attacking prowess as Luiz, but I don't think he's supposed to. I think today Luiz was meant to be the guy who supplied from the defense. There was a few times when Mari was like just rushing in tackles, and it paid off, which I thought was quite good. I think what we've lacked recently is a player who will just put in a tackle. There's times when we've backed off so much from another team and let them come on the attack. We just sometimes need a player who's just going to slide in and just win the ball. But yeah, Mari was good. I think a lot of people downplay him. I mean, he won the Copa Libertadores with Flamengo, and I'm quite sure he was captaining them. So he knows he's won stuff. He knows what he's doing, and I think as a squad player, he can definitely fit in at Arsenal. But yeah, today I give him a 7 as well with Luiz.
7. I think I agree. Thank you for the super chat, Arcade. She says, great stream. I appreciate you. Thank you, everyone watching. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Lewis says, Cedric, best attacking fullback at the club. Arteta said, I mean, people make mistakes, Lewis. People make mistakes. He's not. Tierney definitely is. So on the next one, we'll start with the WSL team.
Kieran Tierney, he for me is joint top best player for us this season. I think him and Saka have been easily the best players. I'd even argue Tierney's been better. When we brought him in, a lot of people were kind of skeptical about him because, he played in the Scottish League and he played Celtic, who were easily the best club. He captained them for over 200 games. He won titles with them. He captained Scotland. He was better than Andy Robertson at one point until he got injured, in which Robertson overtook him. But he's so highly rated by Scotland fans, and they were actually upset that they lost him to us, and he's just been excellent since he's came here. His crosses, for me, the best in the league from any left back. I think he's better than Chilwell and Robertson at crossing the ball. He crossed the ball in today. I think it was Willock's header that was saved. That was just an amazing cross. The one for the Aubameyang goal was just amazing, and he just brings that new level of attacking prowess to us. Like against West Brom when we needed a goal, Kieran Tierney scored, and then today again. He tried his hardest, and unfortunately, we couldn't get the goal from the beginning. But he just did so much. For me, Tierney gets a 9. But I just want to say, Tierney for me should be captain easily. He's got such good leadership in him. I think he should be captain. But I'd give him a 9 today.
Yeah, the header for Willock was from Pepe, but the others, he put in so many crosses that were very, very good as usual. And the way he drives forward always makes me happy. Jules, Tierney?
Tierney today, as usual, what the previous person said, I think that Tierney is crossing, I think he has the best crosses in the league. I totally agree with that. I think Robertson, I think the reason why he might be the better left back is because he's more dynamic and all that. But he's got to be better than Chilwell. Look, Chilwell was twice the price as Tierney, yet you get the twice the better product, the player that is only 25 million. So that's what I'm saying. It's just Tierney. I still don't know why he doesn't have the captaincy, why he doesn't have the captaincy, sorry. But I don't know why Aubameyang still has it. but I think Tierney should be given to it. I think maybe the fact that he's still very young, and that's something we got to remember. He's still like 23, so I mean, from what he's doing right now, for me personally, he's our best player because defensively, defenders are more. I think, from my point of view, I think defenders. It's a harder job than attackers because if you make a mistake defensively, you get all the blame. Compared to if you make a mistake offensively, you don't get much blame. So that's what I'm saying. And Tierney, both defensively and offensively, you can't blame him. You can't judge him for anything bad he did today. Tierney, what can I say? I'm gonna give him a 10. He played what was it, the whole game? 130 minutes, is it? No, 120 minutes of football. He played 120 minutes of football, and what I saw was like he still had even more energy. He did runs for the whole 120 minutes, even at the 100-something minute for us to score the goal, and even before that, he just kept on doing runs. Not like some tired person. He kept on doing it like if he was fresh, like if it was the first minute of him playing in the game. That's what I'm saying. Tierney is just absolutely outstanding. Give him the captaincy. He's still 23. I think he'll become the best left back in the world. Tierney, I'm gonna give him probably a 10. To be honest, he's my man of the match.
Okay, Neil, a lot of praise for Tierney.
But you know what? It's praise that it's well deserved. For me, again, another brilliant performance from him defensively. I thought he was solid, made no errors, did exactly what he was supposed to do. And then attacking wise, like always was trying to contribute, attacking, always, never stopped. And then got an assist as well, which for me, that's big plus points in my book. So for me, I don't know if you give points in the rating, but I'm going to give him an 8.5. I thought he was tremendous as well. All he was missing for me was a goal. If he could have scored a goal like what he did in the last game for me, that he would have been perfect. But he's just amazing player. And for 25 mil, it's a bargain.
Yeah, what if you're pushed to move from the 8.5? Would you move to a 9 or to an 8?
I'd move to a 9.
Okay, so he was that good. I agree with that. I'm actually kind of going to give him a 10 like Jules because he was very good, very good. Clean sheet again, the crosses. Our main attacking threat every single game, puts in very good crosses, but people like Nelson let him down with those kind of finishes. So he was very, very good again. So 10, I agree with you, Jules. The next one, I'll start with the WSL. Midfield now, Neny.
Neny. He has been getting a lot of praise recently, especially after performances against Man United and Liverpool in the Community Shield. But I don't know what he brings. Like he's good at like winning the ball back and keeping the ball and not losing possession, whereas someone like a Dani Ceballos will lose possession a lot. But he doesn't do a lot going forward either. And I know that's not really his job as a defensive midfielder, but for me, he passes sideways too much. And he even passes backwards too much. Like there's a few times when he did try and get the ball forward, which I do, commend him for, because he has a really good forward ball. Like there's times when he passes the ball forward and it's been really good. But he doesn't do it enough. And again, like Xhaka, he has talent, but he just doesn't use it enough. I mean, today he was solid. He ran the midfield. Newcastle didn't stand a chance in the midfield. They were blocked. But I'd probably put that more down to Willock. But Neny, he gets a 6, I think, today from me. He's all right, but he wasn't anything special.
Yeah, Jules, the next one for you, Neny. What would you give him?
Neny today, I'm probably gonna give him. Well, I didn't see as usual. He's starting to get very quiet. We know that, but I think he did his work today. The first half, he's always active. The first half, you see him a lot. The first half, but you barely see him the second half, and it just shows that we just pass him more in the first half because he's like the core of our passing. He was our core of our passing today because, Xhaka came a bit later, but he was our core. So I'm saying that El Neny, he would probably give me. I'll probably give him. I'll give him a 6 just because he was quiet. Like, did I see anything? He did some good tackles though. Some good tackles, but yeah, Newcastle playing defensive. We didn't really need. He wasn't. Anyways, even if Newcastle played well, we weren't gonna give him a good grade. He wasn't gonna get a good rating, anyways. El Neny, because they played with such a defensive side. He didn't really need to do anything. Obviously, as I told you, he's important in the Arsenal team, but just in terms of passing the ball in the defensive half, I think anything else, not really, doesn't really have anything else to do, to be honest. But I'll give him a 6. But he's really quiet. I need to start seeing him a bit more.
Who was your man of the match?
My man of the match was Smith Rowe.
Okay, man. Thank you for coming on, man. I know it's like 6 a.m. there, so I'll let you go, man. I'll have you on next time. Thank you.
Yeah. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, on the call also. Nice to meet you guys. And yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you, man. Neil?
See you later, mate.
El Neny?
For me, El Neny, I'm gonna give a 6. I thought he had an okay performance. I think what he's been asked to do, he made interceptions when need be, made some good tackles, but I think like WSL, you want more from a player, and I think when you see a player like Thomas Partey playing in that midfield, you see why you want more from a player. But I can't criticize a guy that just isn't capable of being that. So for me, I'm going to give him a 6. I thought he was decent. He's El Neny. I just think he's an okay player, and he put in a good performance based on his ability.
Okay, so you'd give him a what out of 10?
Oh, 6.
6. Yeah, probably I'd give him the same too, because hey, we didn't concede a goal, but it's very obvious with him all the time, and that is what is concerning. So yeah, 6. WSL, the next one is Willock.
Can I just quickly address what David said in the comments? He said something about understanding that El Neny is a break up and mop up guy. I understand that. Like, I understand his job as a player, but for me, if you're going to play for Arsenal and if we want to win the league, which is the ultimate goal, that and the Champions League, players need to do more than what they're signed to do. Like, Thomas Partey is signed to do the same thing, yet Thomas Partey will bring more. He'll bring, a little bit more going forward. He'll bring a little bit more defensively. And Tierney is the same. We bought Tierney as a left back to defend because our previous left backs before him were quite poor. But yet Tierney brings more than what he was bought to do. He brings those crosses and the goal every now and then, and he brings the leadership, which is again why I think he should be captain. So El Neny does a good job for what he was bought to do. But if we want to progress any further, we need players who do more than that. But Willock, I really think he needs to go on loan. He's really good in the Europa League. Every time we see him in the Europa League, he's really good. He'll get a goal or he'll get an assist or he'll do something that impresses me. But any other tournament against any other opposition that are of a higher degree to the Europa League, he's just poor. He's not. He doesn't do a lot. He's quite slow. I mean, today he was better. He had that headed chance that I thought was quite unlucky to not go in. It was a great save from the keeper. And I think especially at the start of the second half, he started to do a lot more. I think when Willian came off, he looked a lot better. He was able to go forward a lot more. So I do think Willian kind of limited what Willock could do. And in the defensive midfield, he's not a defensive midfielder. But I definitely think if we want him to ever be an actual Arsenal player, I think he definitely needs to go on loan. I mean, Smith Rowe went on loan, and look at how good he is now. So why can't the same be said for someone like a Nelson or a Willock? But today's performance, I'd give him a 6 again with El Neny. I think they both did well in the midfield. I just don't think they weren't the reason why we won. So I'll just give him a 6.
So for the chance you brought up again, I don't think it was a good save. I just think it's a poor header. I think even he actually hit it with the eye, not even with the forehead. So his timing was wrong there. I mean, if it was someone like Lacazette there, he would have probably have scored it. So probably a
Yeah,
six,
I haven't
maybe.
been able to relook at it, so that could be true. But yeah, I give him a 6. I mean, Willock, he obviously wants to play in the number 10. And if you're going to be a number 10, you need to do more. You need to score goals every now and then. Like Smith Rowe is scoring goals and getting assists. Whereas Willock, when he plays in that position, if it isn't the Europa League, isn't doing that. So again, if
Yeah.
he wants to play for this team, I think he definitely needs to go on loan and begin to learn. I think just the basics. I think he's really good at some of the more technical stuff. I think just the basics he needs to learn, like not where, like he's very selfish sometimes. Like he'll take a shot when he doesn't need to or something like that. And I think if he can just get that out of his game, he could be a good squad player for us. But yeah, today is 6 for Willock.
Yeah. We being too harsh on Willock.
No, I don't. I actually agree with WSL that, that we should be loaning Willock out. Out of all of our academy players, he's the only one that has not been out on a loan. And I think that he is probably the closest one he's probably the one that's closest to kind of first team regular football. And I think if he goes out for a loan half a season, maybe even a full season, I think that's when you really see Willock become a better player. I think his decision making sometimes is questionable. I think right now at Arsenal, I think the best he can be is an 8. But I think that there's something there. I really do. I really do like him.
Yeah.
But I think that he does need regular game time to kind of push on, unfortunately. So I gave him a 5. I think he tried. He worked hard. The header, I think he could have done a better chance with, but yeah, it just needs. He's a young player and still developing, and it just needs to be more.
I mean, for me also, decision making, I agree with you. Decision making always very poor. He gets himself in the right positions. Is like Ramsey, like the running and stuff, very, very good. But decision making, finishing needs to be worked on every time. But yeah, I agree. He needs to go out on loan. The others have gone out on loan, the likes of Nelson. I always thought before Niles became kind of good at the end of last season, I always said him and Willock need to go out on loan because they're the only ones who've never really gone out on loan. But this one certainly needs to go out. And if you thought Willock was frustrating, bear yourself, put on the seatbelt for the next 15 minutes because the next one is Willian. WSL, Willian, how frustrating was he? I had someone saying he thought he was playing well in the first half, so maybe he wasn't that bad.
Willian gets a 0. Like that's it. Like he gets a 0. Willian does nothing. In 13 games, he's had 2 shots on target. He's played in those games. He played striker, attacking midfield, left wing, and right wing. To have 2 shots on target in 13 games, playing in those 4 positions, it's criminal as a footballer. Like you can't be allowed to do that as a footballer. And the caliber of club that we are, and the caliber of the opposition that he's playing against. The worst thing for me is he's acting like he's never played in this league before. Yet he's played for Chelsea for however many years. He's played against Newcastle and all these teams before. Yet he comes to our team and he's rubbish. So for me, for Willian, signing for Arsenal wasn't a matter of being able to play in the Premier League, like to carry on doing that. It was a matter of I get to stay in England, I get to look after my business, and I get more money. For me, that was all that was. For me, Willian, he needs to be gone. Whether we sell him, whether we release him, or terminate his contract, I don't care. For me, he needs to go. He's shocking as a footballer. I think the fact that we play him instead of Nelson, Aziz, Karajan from the academy, like these players aren't being played because Willian's playing. It's stupid because these players can grow and develop into players that we can use. Whereas Willian is like 32 years old. He's not going to learn anything. And he's just slow. He just walks around. He's lazy. And I mean, I don't get why Arteta picks him. That's one of my biggest criticisms of Arteta. I still don't understand why we even signed him. But today, again, he did nothing. He gets a 0.
I told you guys it was going to be a long 15 minutes. Because for me, Willian, I actually can't believe when we signed Willian, I actually did a video saying, I think it was 5 things Willian will bring to Arsenal. Oh, goodness. I mentioned experience. Maybe, but I don't know. I said number 2, winning mentality, because he has won some things at Chelsea. Maybe that's kind of right. But number 3 was goals. Neo, I actually mentioned goals. Willian will actually bring goals to Arsenal, because at Chelsea, it wasn't that bad last season. He scored twice against Tottenham. I think he scored a couple against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup for them. He did score a lot of goals for Chelsea last season. I think double figures for both goals and assists. Arsenal, I don't know what I was thinking making that video. I was very kind of happy. I'm sorry, WSL. I apologize. I was very happy he joined Arsenal. I was like, this guy, what we've needed, no goals from Neny, no goals from Guendouzi, no goals from Torreira. This guy is bringing us goals from midfield. Neo, how wrong was I?
You were not wrong. You were wrong, but the thing is, when I speak to Chelsea fans have said that they knew Willian was like this. So I'm wondering whether we were just all blind to it. But I mean, Willian has just been terrible. I myself thought that we was going to be getting a player that I didn't expect him to play every week. I thought he would be used as a backup, and even though I didn't expect that many goals, like I expected something. I expected at least a work rate. But the way how Willian plays when he's on the pitch, the guy doesn't want to be there. Like he really doesn't. And I'm tired of him. If we can sell him, I'd be so happy. Him and another player who I know you're going to get on. I'd be so happy to sell them, because they don't fit into our squad. They don't fit into what we're trying to do, and they've been completely just a waste of money. And I'll be happy when they're gone. I really would.
This guy is everywhere. I can't even find his picture to remove him from screen. This Willian guy is a nightmare everywhere. He's actually an actual nightmare. Get out of there! Get out of there!
What I will say, Glenn, is the video you put out saying you were happy you signed. You definitely weren't the worst for that. I don't know if you two have seen what Robbie from AFTV said about Willian, that he was better than
Ziyech.
Dude, like
that was ridiculous.
I won't lie, when he signed, I was not excited, but I kind of understood it. Pepe wasn't firing on all cylinders, and I was expecting Willian to be this player that, if Pepe was bad, Willian would come in and do a decent job. I didn't expect Willian to play every single game, and I didn't expect him to be this bad. But, you know, you get what you pay for, which is we didn't pay anything. Chelsea fans said that they were upset that he was leaving. I think that was a massive troll, basically. It was them trying to get rid of Willian. And I mean, you know, he's rubbish. That's it. That's the only way of saying it. He is rubbish. And his time in the Premier League, or at least for Arsenal, is finished already. And he's barely even started.
So Lewis from Blues Fans TV saying respect Don Willian, but I mean, I think we did hear you on FTV 2 weeks ago laughing at Robbie for that comment about Ziyech. So yes, we don't believe you, but yeah, I know things are not very good at Chelsea, so at least we can actually also laugh at you.
I saw a lot of Arsenal fans laughing at him when we beat them.
Yeah, I did a preview with him the other day, and he was talking about Chelsea getting 5 wins out of 5. I think it's 0 out of 4 now. So it's how is it working out over there? Can we loan Willian out? I don't think so. I don't even think a team will come for him anyway. Did Willian even play? Yes, he did. Some bad things happened in the game, so that is how you know he played. Like, that's short. I don't think Willian is a very bad player. I don't think he's the worst Arsenal player we've ever had, but if he keeps playing like this, we have him for 3 years, Neo. 3 years, for the next 3 years. I don't know if he's like wine getting better with age. Maybe in the 3rd season he'll be better than he is right now, but I don't think it applies in football. So
I think he's more like a piece of bread. It gets worse with age. The mold. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. So you gave him a 0. Neo, you gave him?
Just because he was on the pitch to fill the numbers, I'll give him a 1.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. Yeah. He needs to improve. So I know you didn't want him to play WSL, but I was like, if there's a competition he's going to play, it's going to be this one, not the Premier League. But then I quickly realized this is the competition I fell in love with, and I don't want any terrible players close to this competition. So
I
after we
definitely
beat
expected
Benfica,
him to play. I did expect him to play.
yeah,
I just did not want him to play. But
after we hopefully beat Benfica 4-0 in the first leg, he can play in the second leg of the Europa League, because the FA Cup, I don't want anyone joking with the FA Cup. This one is too close to our hearts. So Willian
hopefully Benfica
probably
can
gets a
take him
3.
as well.
Yeah, maybe a 3 for him or something. I think he was there before. I'm not sure. The next one, here we go again. Frustration. Nicolas Pepe, WSL.
Pepe. Record signing for Arsenal. I mean, like, what else? What else can you say?
Talk about being mugged.
I mean, I think there's a lot behind that signing. In terms of Raul Sanelli, how there's reports that he apparently took money from this deal. I mean, I'm not going to get into that because no one knows if that's true or not. But what we do know is that Unai Emery did not want Nicolas Pepe. He wanted Zaha. Zaha recently has come out and said that the conversations between him and Emery, he found it absurd that Pepe signed instead of him. So I think there was definitely something a bit odd behind that deal. And we know that Arsenal themselves have said Pepe wasn't worth the money we paid for him. But that defeats the point. You know, we paid the money we paid for him. So we want the player that we paid for. And Nicolas Pepe, for me, right now, is playing like someone who's worth about 20 million. Like, he's just doing nothing. I really hope Pepe performs. Like, I like him as a player. I think he's got a lot of skill and talent behind him. And when he was playing for Lille in France, he was amazing. You know, he carried Lille, I think, to like third or second in the league, which for them isn't normal. And again, he's very skillful. His crosses, I will say, are really good. You know, he has a great left foot cross, but he's so one-footed. His right foot is useless. He can't shoot or cross on his right foot. And there was a few times today when I think Neny was passing to him and he just completely mistimed his touch and it went out of play for a Newcastle throw-in. It's like you're a professional footballer and you can't even control a simple pass. Like it's for me with Willian, it's frustration because he shouldn't be playing at all. For Pepe, it's disappointment because I really want him to perform. Like when Arteta wasn't playing him, I was angry at Arteta for not playing him. Now I kind of think I understand it. Like Saka brings so much more than Pepe, and for me, the sad thing is that if you looked at Arsenal without knowing anything about Arsenal, you would think Pepe was the main player and Saka was his backup. The fact that a 19-year-old is starting over a 25-year-old senior player and is having to come on the pitch during an FA Cup game to win the match, it's just sad. It's really sad that these players like Pepe and Willian are just not that good. Like, they're not good players. And unfortunately, I'd sell him. I mean, Pepe, I gave him 2 years. I said this season is the season he has to perform, and he's not performing. So for me, you sell him for whatever we can get for him, and you bring in someone else because he's just... I mean, to be honest, we don't even need to bring in anybody else. With the resurgence of Saka and Smith Rowe, I don't think we need to bring anyone else in. It's just... Yeah, it's just disappointment.
So you're saying his right foot is not that good. I mean, his left foot, how many shots off target, man? Seriously, on your stronger foot, every time he cuts in, I'm expecting goal off target of 72 million. I'm not even sure about that 20 million you're talking about because he got a chance today after some neat play. I think it was from Aubameyang. And then he's trying to dribble instead of shooting the ball. In the second half, he gets an open chance off target. I mean, I'm always patient. Like, the number one trait before becoming an Arsenal fan, if you're to meet a kid who's 2 years old today and you're trying to teach him how to become an Arsenal fan, the number one thing you need to have is patience. Because, we waited for a trophy for 9 years. We've waited for a Premier League trophy for 17 years. We were patient with the likes of Santos, Saka, Walcott, Wilshere, so many players. I'm still Arteta in probably because I'm so patient and I've been taught to become patient as an Arsenal fan. But Pepe, man, I don't know, man. Neo, I don't know what to say about him. Just help me with Pepe.
Well, I'll make it easy for you. Pepe's Arsenal career is over. Finished. done. Saka ended it about 2 games ago. Saka last season, at the end of last season, was put on the right, and every Arsenal fan said, "Oh yeah, you know what? He's pretty decent on the right, but the left side is his best side." Now, what, 6 months on, what is his strongest side, right or left? Because it all looks the same. Like Saka is
Yeah.
it's like it bewilders me. And in terms of the Pepe and this dodgy deal, like I'm not surprised if we find out later on that there was some dodgy dealings going on with Raul. Would not surprise me because we got conned in that Pepe deal. Like, and you know what? It happens every time we try to go after big name players. We always get screwed over. Like, could you imagine if we had bought Thomas Lemar, who went to Atletico, to spend 90 million on, when he can hardly get into their side? Like, we need to focus on just getting those real quality players, get the Tierneys of this world, players that we can buy for 25, 35 mil, good solid players that can come in and do exactly what we need to do. Because right now, Pepe for me has been a massive disappointment. I thought that this season had to be his season, and 18 months into his Arsenal career, and he still hasn't done it. And for me, he has to go. Like, the only way he changes my mind is unless for the rest of the season, almost every game, he either scores a goal or gets an assist. That's the only way he changes my mind.
He frustrates me because he's put like in a game where the Europa League where there's no Aubameyang and Lacazette, so he's like, you're now the focus. These other two are not there. And then Willock, Smith Rowe, Balogun comes in, they all outperform him. The next game, the same thing. So for me, Pepe, I don't think he's a bad player. Maybe I wouldn't sell him today, but if he doesn't do anything like you've said between now and the end of the season, go ahead.
He's just one dimensional. It's like WSL said, you know, he looks to pass, shoot, and receive and control the ball all on his left foot, and that's the part. It's so easy for defenders to defend against him. I honestly think Arteta needs to force to play him on the left side, so then he's forced to just pass or shoot. It's almost like tying one hand behind his back and say, you either do one of two things: either you cross the ball or you shoot at goal. I don't want to see you do anything else, because that's really all that we want. It's goals and assists, and if he can do that, then great. But if he plays on the left, he's forced to do that all day long.
How about the central position?
Oh, at the 10, I think the 10 could also work with him as well. But right now,
I was about to say that. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that I'm not sure whether I want to test that theory. See, now in the cup games is where we test that. Maybe in the Europa League, but in the Premier League right now, we've got a winning formula, and I don't want to deviate from that. But we've got to find a way to get the best out of Pepe, so then we could eventually ship him off. And also to continue getting the best out of Aubameyang as well, because right now, I don't know how it's all going to work if Martinelli's healthy again, if he's not seriously injured. What does that mean for Aubameyang? Because Lacazette, for me, should still play at the 9 with ESR behind and Saka on the right. So we've got to find something for Pepe at least until he goes.
So I don't think if there's anyone else that Emery signed apart from Tierney. Just correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the chat or you guys. Apart from Tierney, I'm just like Arteta. I know people want Balogun to play and all those kind of players, but the ones is kicked out, all Emery signing, Socrates, not good enough. Torreira was good in the first season, but last season after we lost 1-0 to Aston Villa, the game that we helped them stay up, he was terrible in that game. Terrible. Guendouzi, I don't know. I kind of want him to come back, but again, it's not the quality we want. Yeah, but most of those players, Pepe, all those players that Emery signed, most of them are terrible.
The only players that Arteta likes are Leno.
Tierney,
for obvious reasons. I mean, you can't not play Leno. Tierney and Martinelli, they're the only 3 players in the squad from Emery that have been played by Arteta. Like you said, Guendouzi and Torreira, For me, with Torreira, I would probably bring him back just to see what he can bring. I mean, he's got to be better than Ceballos. I mean, I don't like Ceballos,
Yes.
but Guendouzi, he's ripping it up at Hertha Berlin. I mean, yes, you can argue the Bundesliga is a bit of a
Yeah,
rubbish league.
he's really happy, about to get a baby too. Like everything is going right.
I think the pregnancy and him having a baby will actually mature him. I think the main reason why he got kicked out of the squad wasn't his performances; it was his attitude. And
Yeah.
him having a baby will mature him. It matures everybody. It's like a common thing. But with Guendouzi, the one thing we need is goals from the field, which is why I love Smith Rowe, because he brings that, whether it's assists or goals. Guendouzi's already scored twice at Hertha Berlin, and both goals have been great finishes. So we could use a Guendouzi right now. But the one thing with Pepe, I'd only do one more thing. I would play him in the middle, because a lot of people say Pepe, he's scored a lot of goals and got a lot of assists while he's been here. He has. A lot of those goals have came from free kicks, or they've actually come from the middle. So if his outcome, if his goals and assists are going to come from the middle, play him down the middle. The one thing we struggle with right now is not having a good attacking midfielder other than Smith Rowe. So try Pepe there. I agree, don't play him in the Premier League, stick with what we've got. But Benfica in the Europa League, we play at Benfica first and then play at home second, which I think is personally the best way to do it. I would play Pepe in the first leg of that game. See what he can do. If we lose 1-0, we go back home and beat them 2-0. So for me, just try Pepe in that position, and if he's still not performing, you sell him at the end of the season. But yeah, right now I would probably hold on to him. But
I know that's a story for another day, but I actually kind of prefer to play home first, keep a clean sheet, win the game, and then go away and get an away goal. But that's a story for another day. David says, I said it back then. Willian was no good. I also said same thing about Pepe, the new Javinho. IK Sweetie says Willian needs to go back to Chelsea. Pepe enjoying free pay. Yeah, Pepe enjoying free pay now. We know who else is doing that at Arsenal. We won't mention his name. We need our money back for Pepe. He is 25 years old. I wish he could have loaned into another Premier League team or Premiership team. Saka could play anywhere, Jones Block says. Nothing like loaning him. Why loaning him? Martin says. Loaning Aubameyang? No, Martin, please, no. The frustrating thing about Pepe is that when he gets a chance, he doesn't take it. And it's every single time, every single competition.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you, Arsenal fan reviews. Pepe today could have been the man of the match if he was not substituted. Neo, are you watching the same game? But anyway, what would you give him for today?
Oh my God.
What did you give him for today, Neo?
Pepe, I give him another 3. No, I give him a 1. Again, you've got to play better than that. Like, for all the points that WSL said, just frustrating, really frustrating.
Yeah, we spent 20 minutes on him and 15 minutes on Willian. Sorry about that, but not make it too long. WSL, what did you give him, Pepe?
I'd probably give him a 2 for the 2 good crosses that he put in. That's about it.
I thought I was going to cheer you guys up next, but unfortunately, another frustrating performance. The next one is Nelson. Neo?
Okay, so I'm a Reece Nelson fan, and like Willock, I support the youngsters, but this was again another moment for him to try to take the game and run with it, and he just didn't. Got himself in some good opportunities, and didn't do anything like drastically wrong, but he's got to try to stop being so afraid. I'm pretty positive that Reece Nelson is a confidence player, more so than any other of our young players. And I just wish that he would all the things what makes Saka, if he can just take a bit of that confidence and just run with it. Just he needs to just have the mentality that he's the best in the world, and just go out there and give it 100%, and we'll see the best out of Reece. But we don't. So for me, I have to give him a 5. I think it was okay, but you want to, as an attacking player, you have to try to impact the game. He got himself in some nice, good positionings. He had a chance where he could have scored, but for me, I felt that at the very least he should have got it on target or try to challenge the goalkeeper in some type of way. But maybe he needed to play more minutes out of the game to be able to really show what he can do. But for me, not a great showing, even though he definitely deserves more games. But when you don't get up those games and you get these chances, you have to take them. So I give him a 5.
This thing of, you've brought up another good point. This thing of confidence players. How many of these players do we have? Lacazette is a confidence player.
We've got a lot of them. We've got a lot of them. That's why we're in this bad run.
That's not good. Vard is not a confidence player. Son is not a confidence player. That's why they're shining. Those guys know why they're there. They are there to fight for their team. They're there to fight for their families, make them proud. This thing of everyone is a confidence player, play Saliba, he needs some confidence. This one is a confidence player, Luiz. How many of these ones do we have?
Right.
It's terrible.
The problem is that we've got too many players that's like that. And that's why I said at the beginning of the stream that Arteta has his work cut out for him, because we need to get more players that are mentally strong and that can be able to be what we all keep talking about is real leaders in this side, because someone like Nelson, he needs an arm around him to tell him that, you know what, he can do it. You know, just go out there and give him his best. I feel quite sorry for him because I wish I could just go there and be like, mate, you've got all the talent in the world. Just try. Take a shot every now and again.
If he needs an arm around him, get in between that celebration then and get so many arms around you. There's no time for feeling bad for players right now. Get in between that celebration and have an arm around you, man. So, I get what you're saying, David. I'll permit that because he's played today and the likes of Willian have played like 16 games without playing well. So I'll give him an off today. So WSL, would you do the same?
With Nelson, I think a lot of people are going to really badly criticize him after today's game, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. With this confidence player thing, I don't hear that. Like, confidence as a footballer, I understand like certain aspects of that, like if a player misses a penalty or if they concede an own goal or something like that. I understand that, but when it comes to, you're a footballer, you get paid to play football. Like, just being paid the amount of money they get paid alone should be enough of a reason to go out and perform every day. Like, any of us would love to earn the money they earn. But Nelson, I do have to cut him some slack. Today, he wasn't meant to start. We know this. He hasn't played in about a month. So him getting rushed back in because of the Martinelli injury is unfortunate for him and Martinelli. But what I will say is today, I think Martinelli was the key to unlocking Newcastle. The way we played and the way Newcastle was playing, I fully see that Arteta wanted Martinelli to be, the key to unlock them. And I think because of the time when the injury came, he didn't have much chance to change the system that would accommodate a Reece Nelson. So I think he was thrown in the deep end, and I think he did the best with what he could do. But there was a few chances where he stayed on the ball too long. Like he was making a decision, but he took
very good
long.
cross from Tierney.
Yeah, and he missed that chance. Yeah, and Nelson, he has been out. We don't know why. They've said it's an injury, but I don't personally think it is. It could be anything. We don't know. But one thing I will say is I think a lot of our fans gas academy players up a little too much. People were saying Nelson was going to be like the next Van Persie and stuff. Like, there was those links a few years ago, and ever since he went out on loan to around that kind of impact player, people were saying, like, not many people. I heard those things like a few years ago.
We don't like Van Persie, but Van Persie is top two Arsenal players in the Emirates era.
I didn't say this. I think what they meant was the impact Van Persie had, like where he'd come and score 20 goals a season.
You will struggle. You will struggle to reach that level. That guy was saving us season after season. But I get what you're saying. But go on. Sorry. I wanted like just one word answer from both of you. So keep or loan. Nelson, just one word answer.
Loan.
W, sir?
Loan.
So I guess we
Yeah.
agree on that. So I was saying, Neil said confidence player, Lacazette confidence player, Bellerin confidence player, Arteta confidence manager. All these things about confidence. We need to move from that. So, nah. The next one is a bit of positivity. Now, Neil, start with you. A bit of positivity. Our striker, our captain, getting a goal finally after it feels like years for him.
Yeah, for me, Aubameyang, I'm gonna give a 7. No, you know what? I'll give him an 8. Scored a goal. Has been through very hard time. Well, all the past weeks. Happy to see him get a goal to get things going. Before the substitutes, I think that he was one of the better players on the pitch, along with El Nene and Tierney and Leno and David Luiz. Um, so you know what? We all knew that he was going to get back to form, and I just hope that this is really the start to it. But yeah, really happy to see him get a goal, and yeah, just get back to the Aubameyang that we know, because I know that in another few weeks, once we start getting the Europa League going, we are going to need his goals, big time. So yeah, I'll give him an 8.
W, sir?
Aubameyang. I'm just glad he's smiling again. That's the main thing for me. There was a video, I think a few weeks ago, Arsenal posted. It was Aubameyang talking about his career, and he looked really sad. Like he had his head down and he just looked upset. And he's come out and said that his recent form and the form of the team is getting him down because, he's the captain. At the end of the day, the captain, no matter what, like no matter who you are, doesn't matter your impact or anything, you're the captain. You're going to get stick from even players. If your team's not playing well, your fellow players are going to look at you as the captain. And I think because he wasn't performing as well, he felt he was letting everybody down. Again today, I was worried that we were going to see another Aubameyang performance where it was he had 3 or 4 really great chances and he just couldn't finish them. But he scored the goal, and for that I give him a 7. But what I'm hoping is, I think I said this before, when he missed the penalty against Tottenham last season, he had a goal drought. He was upset. He was obviously angry with himself for missing, and he had a goal drought. He then scored a few games later, and after that point, he didn't stop scoring. He scored the 2 goals against City and scored the 2 goals against Chelsea in the final and won us the FA Cup. So hopefully he has that same sort of impact where he's got this goal, he gets the games to play. So I think he should play against Palace, and then hopefully he can score again. We can see the old Aubameyang, the one that's always smiling and always trying his hardest, and the one that's scoring. But yeah, he gets a 7 today from me.
Neo, what if he missed that?
I mean, if he did, I still think he would have gotten more opportunity to score another goal, but it wouldn't, long term wise, it would have been like another weight for him to be able to score a goal. But like I have confidence in Aubameyang. I think that things will turn around. He is a confidence player, which is a shame, because when things aren't going well, means that he's not the type of player to pick other people up. But right now, I'm not even thinking of that, because I mean he's got what, another 3-4 years in in his deal. I think that in another couple of seasons, once Tierney's been here for a little bit longer, I think eventually they'll give him the captaincy, because whether we're playing well or whether we're playing badly, you never see him sad, and he's just able to say, you know what, we're going to get on this, we're going to keep fighting, we're going to keep working with the team, even if it's a bad result. He'll come on and apologize on behalf of the players to the fans, and that's the type of captain and leader that I expect. But for me, Aubameyang, talented player, but it's like if I was out on the pitch, like playing for Arsenal, if Arsenal were losing the way how they was, I would be sad and upset. And it's a shame that he just isn't more. But I just accept that he's a world-class goal scorer and move on.
What did you give him?
I gave him an 8.
Mate. And WSL, you gave him a what?
A 7.
7. I'm actually stuck in between. Maybe he got the goal, some good play here and there. I think 8. I think 8 would be too high. Maybe a 7 for him. So let's get into the bench. A breath of fresh air. WSL, Smith Rowe.
Dude, Smith Rowe. I love Saka, and his resurgence into the team was so amazing. But I think Smith Rowe has been more impactful than Saka. Obviously, Saka, he's one of our best players, and he's probably one of the first names in the team sheet. But when Saka came into the squad, he wasn't needed. He just came in. Whereas Smith Rowe, we've been looking for a player like him, looking for a player who can find those pockets of space. I think DT from AFTV said this, and this made me laugh. He said before Smith Rowe came in, the only person finding the pockets of space for Arsenal was the referee. And as soon as Smith Rowe came in, he's doing that. He's getting in those pockets of space. He's making he's moving the ball around. He's just making us look better. And I was calling for Smith Rowe to come in. And then when I saw him on the team sheet against Chelsea, I said, I think this is too big a game for him. I think he's going to struggle here. He did amazing against Chelsea. He then did amazing against Brighton and then amazing against West Brom. So he proved me wrong. And I think he proved a lot of people wrong because I saw a lot of people saying we should loan him out again or sell him or something like that. And he's just been amazing. For me, I wouldn't even sign a player like Buendia, and I'd keep Smith Rowe. Today, he broke the deadlock. So for me, he gets man of the match. I'm going to give him a 9. But yeah, he's such a good player, man.
You've brought that West Brom game up. I have to put this picture up because I really enjoyed that goal, Smith Rowe and Saka. I mean, you've brought up that referee thing. If you were a bit out there, which referee would you sign to play in that pocket?
If I had to sign someone else and not play
A referee. Which referee would you sign? Since DT said that, which referee would you sign to have that?
Well, not Mike
Dean. I think Mike Dean. I think Mike Dean would do a great job for us.
I would sign. I can't remember his first name, but I know there's a referee called Tierney because we have a Tierney. Get another Tierney. He has to be. We've got one Tierney and he's really good. We've got one, so let's just get another one. You know what I mean? Let's see if he's just as good. But yeah,
Paul Tierney is his name. Nia, what did you give it? Smith Rowe.
Smith Rowe for me. I'm gonna give him a 9 as well. I think he was again brilliant. Like that trident of him, Lacazette and Saka, the finish, brilliant. Like as soon as he came on the pitch, you just knew things were gonna happen, and like he's completely replaced Özil. It's a shame that we don't have more players that's like him. I think that's the one thing I would honestly we need, but I think in the summer we can go and address that. But right now he's got to play in the Premier League week in, week out. But yeah, just brilliant for Stroh. So for me, 9. I just want him to keep doing what he's doing and keep giving Arteta a difficult decision.
I agree. The 9 is very, very good. You can take the first one, the next one too, Xhaka.
I cannot stand Xhaka. I can't stand Xhaka, but you know what? Like, I thought that he played pretty well today, so I'm gonna give him an 8. My criticism of him is that he doesn't do this every single game. He's more sideways, backwards pass, and finally he thread the ball in through forward, and that's what gave us the second goal. But overall, even before then, I was working hard, was trying to create from midfield. Passing was good, was tracking back. So even though I'm not a fan of him, I got to say that he played well. So yeah, I think an 8 is a good solid performance from him.
WSL, just briefly on Xhaka.
Yeah, I agree with Neo. Xhaka still needs to go. He's been really good in these last few games, but he needs to be sold. You know, there's other players like that. I have a feeling that a few of these players, like the Bellerin's and Xhakas, are purposely performing well now to try to stay at the club. And if that is the case, then that's atrocious, because they should be performing like this every game. And this is the sad thing. We see how good Xhaka and Bellerin can perform, yet they don't do it often enough. But again, today he came on, made the difference, threaded that beautiful pass into, to create the second goal. So I'll give him a 7 today. But it's just sad that we have to bring these kind of players on the pitch. You know, we should be beating Newcastle without these kind of players. But yeah, he gets a 7.
Yeah. Okay, the next one you can take it to Saka.
Saka, I love this kid. Saka, for me, will be one of the best players in the world in a few years. I'd even probably say that he could be a Ballon d'Or winner or a contender for it. He just, you look at, we for me have the best academy in England, easily. The players we've brought up are next level. But you look at the differences between your Nelsons and your Willocks to your Saka. There's such a difference. Saka's younger than both Willock and Nelson. And like Neo said earlier, if Nelson only had half of what Saka has, he'd be a great player. So to say Saka is, I think, about 2 years younger than Nelson, and he already is about 3 times better than him, it proves how good he is. Today he came on. He didn't make as much a difference as I'd say a Smith Rowe or Xhaka, but I think he's tired. You know, he probably didn't want to play today. He probably wanted to rest. And again, it's sad that we have to bring him on.
Yeah. You see that headline? That is the headline I want to see very soon. He's very good.
I mean,
that is the headline I want to see.
He did sign a new deal recently, so I think he's
I want
deal.
another one. I want another one worth 1 million a week, £1 million a week. Give him everything he wants.
I hope we can get a life contract where he just can't leave. Like I think Messi had that, where he had like a contract where he wasn't allowed to leave for a certain amount of time. But yeah, Saka is amazing. Today again, he didn't make as much a difference as he can do, but again, I don't think he just looked like he was a bit tired. Looked like he needed a bit of a rest, kind of thing. But he came on. There was one chance, I think it was on his left foot, which is his weaker foot. He had a great shot outside the box that just went over the bar. You know, if that went in, that would have been another one of Saka's beautiful goals this season. The one against Chelsea was incredible, and obviously the one against West Brom as well. So he looks so deadly, and I don't think it'll last. I don't think he'll last at this level, because I think because of his age, he will drop off again, and then he'll, rise in form. I think that's what will happen. But while he's on this amazing run of form, we need to play him. We need to utilize him as much as we can. It's the same thing with Smith Rowe. But today I'll give him a 7 with Xhaka.
Yeah, I was really hoping we'd give him a full rest today and we wouldn't need him because he's played too many games. Neo, Saka?
For me, I thought, again, Saka, brilliant. Part of the reason why we did well. And like you, I would prefer if we hadn't played them, Smith Rowe, Lacazette and Saka, because we got lots of games coming up and I think they need the rest along with Tierney. But it just shows on how reliant we are on them, that we need to play them every single game. This is why I say that Arteta has his job cut out for him, because do you play when these guys are tired or injured or suspended? Like, who do you play? What, Willian? Like, we've got
Come
some
on,
serious. No. I'm being like, who do we play? I was starting to
feel better about life, and then he mentioned Willian again.
I mean, he's right. Like, if Saka's injured, you can only play really Willian or Pepe, and they were both awful today.
He literally has to play every game.
Look, Martinelli was injured today, so we brought in Nelson, and he was quite poor. So that's bad for us, because we lost one of our good players, and the player who came in to replace him wasn't good. And if that's going to be the same thing with Saka and Smith Rowe, we first need to get rid of these players, like your Pepes and your Williams, and we need to bring in players that are going to be better than them and can do a job when they're called upon.
What did you give him, Neo? Saka?
For me, I'd give Saka an 8. I would give him an 8.5 if you do points, but yeah, I thought he had a very good game. If he had gotten an assist or scored a goal, then I'd given him more. But yeah, for me, he's part of the reason why we won this game today.
Awesome. I'd agree. Then 8. Lacazette. Yeah.
Lacazette, I would also give an 8 as well. Again, as soon as he was on the pitch, I remember I tweeted Lacazette's coming on, we're probably going to score. And within 2 minutes, we ended up scoring and he gets the assist. Did exactly what he's been doing over the past couple of weeks, just working hard. And just before the goal, I remember seeing there were about 5 Newcastle players around from this picture around Smith Rowe. And as soon as Saka and Lacazette come into you just see those 3 just working together to carve open that Newcastle midfield and defense, and then you get a goal out of it. And Laka has just been so important out of that. He's a player that I do think that if we get an opportunity to sell, I do think we should, because I think that right now the reason why he's playing well is because he wants a new contract. But you got to give him his plaudits. I think he's playing really well at the moment. And I think an 8 is justified in his performances.
Martin, I'm really hoping you're a troll because I can see you've given Saka 5 and Saka.
Oh
5.
No.
That's what was it. Yeah, that's
at least a 7. Saka.
I mean,
I think we disagree.
He gave Tierney a 7. Like Tierney,
Yeah.
he was better than Leno, and you gave Leno an 8.
You're clearly pretty harsh. We disagreed like 7 of those. Maybe the ones I'd agree with is let me see, maybe oh wow, Neny and maybe Pepe. That is pretty too high.
I agree with the Cedric one.
Yeah, I agree with Cedric. Agree with Mari.
Yeah.
Luiz is okay.
David says stop playing Oba up top. Roxington says Oba will find his mojo again. Hope so. Emil Smith Rowe 8.5. Emil Smith Rowe 8. Emil Smith Rowe makes those Freddy Yumba runs. I love them. I was watching a Yumba game yesterday in the Champions League, I think 2005. Very good. 8.5. Smith Rowe makes the team blend. I got beef with Xhaka, so I don't rate him. You're not the only one. Xhaka's through ball was class. Saka has that X factor. Clearly not for Martin. He gave him a 5. What's everybody's thoughts? We'll come to that quickly. I want to let these guys go. We could put Tierney in Saka's position, then Gabriel, then Lacazette 7. Then have we? The last one is Niles. He'll get a standard 5 because he wasn't on for too long. Unless you guys have anything to say on Niles.
The only thing I will say on Maitland-Niles is why wasn't he starting? I agree I know
that.
Tierney played.
He should have started.
Tierney played very well, but Tierney playing a lot. I can't remember the last game that Tierney hasn't, and Maitland-Niles has hardly ever played. Why not start Maitland-Niles at left back or right back? I mean, I don't mind wherever he plays, but like there was a
90
story.
minutes. Go ahead first.
No, I was going to say. There was weeks ago where they said that some Arsenal player stood up and said that Arteta's got favourites, and immediately I said that it was probably Maitland-Niles. And like, what does this guy need to do in order to play? Like, I don't get it. What has he done wrong? Like, he hasn't had like a bad game. I mean, maybe it's not great games. But
yeah, we have like 40 players. I like the way Neo confidently said I think it was Maitland-Niles from a group of like 40.
With Maitland-Niles as well, I think it was his last game that he played. It was in the Europa League. He was asked a question after, like, on a post-match interview. He was asked a question about Ozil, and I think it was something to do like, did the players support him? Maitland-Niles said that they all support him and they still love him as a fellow player. Since he said that, he hasn't started a single game for Arsenal. So I have a feeling that has something to do with it. Because obviously Ozil, there's a lot of issues with the politics and the politics, and the club stuff. But yeah, I don't know about Maitland-Niles, but I agree. I think he should have started.
So Neo says Tierney has played a lot. He has played 90 minutes in every single Premier League game, so he totally deserves the rest. The only thing I can try and see it from a more positive Arteta kind of side is that when you're playing Newcastle and you know you're going to attack like throughout the game, I think having Niles on the left is a weakness because he doesn't have those crosses from the left side. Maybe on the right it'd be better. And then in midfield, I've seen him play in midfield 3 times this season. Very, very good against Dundalk when he was playing with Neny. But he had a passing accuracy of 30%. You can't do that in midfield. There's another time on the left at home to Dundalk. He had a terrible game on the left side. But you've seen he can have some good games like against the bigger teams on the left side. So I don't know, but he needs to play definitely. I don't think the likes of Bellerin and Cedric have really played that well not to deserve a chance for him. So yeah. Then Arteta is the last one, yeah.
Arteta, you gotta give him a 9. He saw the issues that were happening in the game. He addressed those issues, brought on the right substitutes, and won the game. And even though I have questions regards to why I'm playing like Maitland-Niles, he got it right today. I do feel for him a bit in regards to knowing what's your best, at least some of your best players in your starting 11, and just not having that depth there. So he's got a lot of work that he needs to do. But yeah, it's good job for him. Again, young players are saving him.
I'd give him probably less than that. I'd give him a 7. Reason number 1, I thought it took too long to bring in Lacazette. You know, the FA Cup, I see it like the golden goal, like back in the days in the World Cup. If you concede 1, you're in trouble because you just need the final whistle to blow in you out. So for me, that was mistake number 1, not bringing him early on. Number 2, obviously, people want Balogun to be in. He needs to be somewhere on the bench. I don't think the players who are on the bench are better than him. And number 3, even though I've said that about Tierney, I'll contradict myself. I agree with you. Neo, I really wanted Tierney to rest today. So maybe those 3 mistakes, but so he'd get to 7. WSL. And I didn't want extra time against Newcastle.
Well, first off, I'm Arteta out. I want him gone personally. It's not that I think he's a bad manager. I think he's just so inexperienced, and the job that he's been put in is way too critical for the club, because he could mess with this club up more than I think he realizes. Like he's for me already put us back at least 2 years in progress, and it's not exactly his fault. He's been thrown into the deep end, but today's game. Yes, you can argue that players like Pepe and Willian need to step up more, but my question to that is, we know already Pepe and Willian are not playing well, yet they're still being played over players like Aziz and these younger players who might deserve to at least get some sort of game time. So the fact that they still play, for me, instantly knocked him down a few ratings. I think the Martinelli situation is unfortunate. He had not, that was not his problem. However, I still don't think Martinelli should have started, and now we've paid the price for that. He's injured. I mean, yes, he would have got the injury either way, but I think he should have been left at home. I don't even think he should have been brought, because there was no reason for Martinelli to be there today. I'm going to give him a 5 because, again, the players he picked, it didn't work. We had to bring on the youngsters again who needed to be rested. I agree. I didn't want Lacazette to come on first, but he came on too late. We went to extra time against Newcastle, so now players like Kieran Tierney have played 120 minutes. Luckily, the next game's on Thursday, so they have a lot of time to rest up and stuff. But if we were like Newcastle, the reason why they brought off Andy Carroll was because they play on Tuesday. If they didn't play on Tuesday, they'd on the rest of that game. So we were quite lucky that the situation Newcastle were in forced them to bring players off, and that they had injuries. If Callum Wilson was playing today, we'd have lost that game. Callum Wilson would have scored those chances. They'd have been 2-0 up, we'd have lost. So Arteta, he did well with what he had, but I still give him a 5 because it could have been a lot worse. And I think the scoreline, it's nicer than how we actually played. Like, it sugarcoats how we actually played today.
Yeah, Tierney has played too much. I think the best idea, Neo and WSL, is to bring back the man himself, Kolasinac, for the Crystal Palace game and then send him back on loan again. But no. I was just joking. Obviously. No. That would be terrible. So those are the player ratings. Man of the match, Neo?
Emil Smith Rowe.
WSL?
Yeah, Smith Rowe.
Okay, 2 questions from the chat and then we end it. The first one is it wasn't a question, but I found it interesting. We could put Tierney in Saka's position. That's left wing. And then Gabriel could go left back near. Possible?
No, I don't like that.
So you'd play Gabriel and Pablo Mari or Gabriel and Luiz, or keep Gabriel on the bench?
I'd probably play Gabriel and Luiz. Would have to be my starting centre back. For me, Luiz offers you more than just defensive solidity, and Gabriel is Gabriel. Don't get me wrong, Mari's been good, but for me, like Gabriel before he got suspended was top 3 centre backs in the Premier League. Like it's fact, and he's been brilliant. A few mistakes near the end, but yeah, he's been good, really good.
Tierney, how about just Tierney further forward?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, how about you, WSL? Any different thoughts?
Gabriel left back, absolutely not. A left back, again, the way we play left back, or the way we need, we want our fullbacks to play, they need to be quite fast and they need to be good at going forward, which is why I don't like Cedric and why I don't like Bellerin. And it's why I like Tierney. Gabriel isn't fast. He's not going to run forward. He's not going to whip in a really great cross, and he's not going to do what Tierney does, which is cut in and shoot on his right foot and score. Gabriel's a great defender, and I'm really, really happy we signed him. But he's a centre back, and that's where for me he's going to stay. I would play Gabriel and Luiz, but I'd possibly ease Gabriel back in. I think Mari's been quite good, and I think Gabriel was quite poor when he got before he got the COVID, I think it was. But I'd get rid of Holding. I don't want him anywhere near the team. So for me, the 3 centre-backs you play are Luiz, Gabriel and Mari. And then the thing about Tierney going further forward, I could see him playing like left mid or left wing. But first, we need a good left back to replace him if we're ever going to do that. Because if we was to play Tierney further forward, who's going to play left back? Because we don't have anyone else who can even like almost play as well as he did in that position.
Awesome. And then the last one, Neo, thoughts on the Palace game?
That's going to be a difficult game for us. We need to have everyone ticking. I hope it's not true about Martinelli. I hope he is 100%. But Zaha is going to be a problem because he always is a problem against us. And every time we play against him, we're always thinking, boy, we should have signed him over Pepe. So now that all the Emery interviews are coming out and he's having his interview with Jamie Carragher, like, it would not surprise to see Zaha start against us or score against us. But for me, the way how we're playing, I don't think we're going to lose. So I'd probably go with Arsenal 3, Palace 1.
The way you're predicting that, it looks like we are going to win the league, which is very, very good. What would be a starting lineup? Just quickly, 30 seconds.
It would be Lacazette up top, Martinelli on the left, ESR behind with Saka on the right. I'm thinking Arteta is going to pull something out of his arse, and his name is Thomas Partey in midfield, along with Granit Xhaka. Then it would be Bellerin, David Luiz, Mari, and Tierney, with Leno in goal, obviously.
Not Ranason, a chance for Ranason. WSL, 1 minute for you. Thoughts on the game in your starting lineup?
I think we're going to win. I am worried about against Zaha. I think he's a wonderful player, and I think he'll play well against us. I think Eberechi Eze is a great player as well. I think he's a great signing for Palace. He's dangerous. He's going to get in on our wingers. I think Bellerin's going to struggle against him if he plays on the left. But again, I'm confident. As long as we play the team that played against West Brom, or at least that front 4, I'd maybe take Martinelli out for Aubameyang if he is injured. But Laka, ESR and Saka need to start up front. But my lineup, I'd probably put Leno in goal, Tierney left back, and have the centre-backs as if Gabriel's back, him and Luiz, otherwise Mari. I'd put Maitland-Niles on the right wing, because again, I think Eberechi Eze or Zaha, whichever one it is, will cause problems for Bellerin. I think Partey will be back, and I'd put him next to Neny, and then again the same thing: Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Lacazette, and Saka up front, and then if no Martinelli, Aubameyang.
Yeah, you guys are putting Aubameyang on the bench. Very brave. Can it say something?
Oh, no, I was going to say that I don't think it's brave. I think if Martinelli is healthy, that front four, it's just going to be nothing but energy and pressing, and we are going to cause that Palace defense all type of problems. They're going to give away penalties. I could just see it. That's the intricate passing, just even between the three. Even if you take out Martinelli, I just think that we're going to cause some problems. But as it's dealing with Zaha that's going to be the issue, and we're going to need Thomas Partey for that, and hopefully Bellerin will have a decent game and just try not to bomb forward too much so that we don't get hit on the counter attack.
So I guess no Sabas for you again, because I think he was rested for that game, if I'm not wrong. So I wouldn't mind Partey and Sabas or something like that. But yeah, my front four would be Willian, Pepe, Nelson, and Willock.
You're funny, mate.
Yeah, never. That is such an obvious joke. That's like, that's I mean in the first half, man. So that would be terrible. But thank you guys for coming on. Do me a favor, guys, everyone in the chat. Make sure you go subscribe to Neo. Give a shout out to your channel.
Yeah, do visit me on my channel, AFC Neomis. I'm always putting out regular Arsenal content about 3-4 times a week. So do check me out, as well as follow me on Twitter at AFC Neomis as well.
There it is under him, and then WSL. Doing women's soccer, man. All the Vivian Miedema and Daniela van der Donk, all of them. Give a shout out to your channel.
Yeah, so I do women's football. I go over all the different teams, so it's not just Arsenal, but I do have a little bit of favouritism for Arsenal. But yeah, if you're interested, it's not just being interested in women's football. Women's football is quite interesting anyway. But so my YouTube channel is WSLFC, and then my Twitter is at FC_WSL. So go follow me on there and go subscribe to my channel. But yeah, cheers for having me on, Glenn, by the way.
No problem. And anytime you're talking about Leo Williamson, get me on. I love all of them. Van der Donk, very, very good players. So very good defender. So thank you guys for coming on. Make sure you subscribe to them and WSL. And everyone in the chat, just quickly, RK Sweetie member, I appreciate the super chat too. All the David, the interaction, Jones, Roxington, Ray, Martin, even though he gave Saka 5. Arsenal fan reviews, Lewis, Cookie, Attila, and everyone else who came on early, everyone watching on Facebook and on YouTube. I appreciate it. Do me that favor and go subscribe to their channels. I'll have them on again, obviously. Yeah, that's how it goes. Time flies when you're talking about Arsenal. We could have been here for like 4 hours, but great points from Neo, great points from WSL. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.